The Silent Stalker, a real-time terror. In the heart of the quiet English village of Thistlewood, the leaves rustled ominously, whispering secrets to the wind. The town was preparing for its annual autumn festival, a time of celebration and unity. But this year, an unsettling aura cloaked Thistlewood, a darkness that the villagers felt but could not name. Emily Turner, a young journalist from London, arrived in Thistlewood to cover the festival. She had heard rumors of strange occurrences in the village and saw it as the perfect opportunity to uncover a compelling story. With her camera in hand, she set out to capture the essence of Thistlewood, unaware of the horror lurking in its shadows. As Emily roamed the cobblestone streets, she noticed a peculiar hush had fallen over the village. The usual bustle was subdued, and the villagers moved with a nervous energy. Her curiosity piqued, she approached an elderly man sitting on a bench. "Excuse me, sir. I'm Emily, a journalist. Could you tell me why everyone seems so tense?" she asked, her voice gentle but firm. The old man, his face etched with years of worry, looked at her with weary eyes. "It's the Silent Stalker," he whispered. "For the past month, people have been disappearing. No signs of struggle, no clues. Just gone." Emily felt a chill run down her spine. "The Silent Stalker? Who is that?" "Nobody knows," he replied. "But every night when the fog rolls in, someone vanishes. They say he moves through the mist, unseen and unheard." Determined to uncover the truth, Emily decided to stay in Thistlewood for a few days. That evening, she set up her equipment in her rented cottage at the village's edge, near the dense woods. As darkness fell, a thick fog enveloped the village, creating an eerie, impenetrable blanket. She recorded her thoughts in her journal. "The villagers speak of a silent stalker, a phantom who takes his victims without a trace. Tonight I will stay awake and watch." Hours passed, and the village was deathly quiet. Emily's eyelids grew heavy, but she fought the urge to sleep. Suddenly, a soft creak echoed through the cottage, pulling her from her drowsiness. Her heart pounded as she scanned the room, but nothing seemed out of place. She grabbed her camera and ventured outside. The fog was thick, wrapping around her like a shroud. She could barely see a few feet ahead. She moved cautiously, her flashlight cutting through the darkness. As she walked towards the woods, she heard a faint whisper, a sound that seemed to come from all directions at once. "Who's there?" she called out, her voice trembling. No answer came, only the whispering wind. She continued forward, the trees looming like silent sentinels. Suddenly, she stumbled upon a clearing. In the center stood an old, decrepit well. It was not on any map she had seen, and she felt a strange compulsion to approach it. Peering into the well's depths, she saw nothing but darkness. She turned to leave, but a cold, clammy hand clamped over her mouth, stifling her scream. She was dragged backward, her flashlight and camera falling to the ground. Struggling against her unseen assailant, Emily felt her strength ebbing away. Her vision blurred as she was pulled into the forest. Just as she thought she would lose consciousness, the grip loosened, and she fell to the ground. She looked up, but there was no one there. Terrified, she stumbled back to her cottage, slamming the door behind her. She frantically searched for her phone to call for help, but it was dead. The fog outside seemed to thicken, pressing against the windows like a living entity. Hours passed in agonizing silence. Emily huddled in a corner, clutching a kitchen knife, her eyes darting around the room. The whispers grew louder, filling her mind with a cacophony of voices. She could make out fragments of words, pleading for help, cursing their fate. Suddenly, a face appeared at the window, pale and twisted with fear. It was the old man from the bench, his eyes locked onto hers, filled with a silent scream. Then he was gone, swallowed by the fog. Emily knew she had to leave. She grabbed her camera, now with a cracked lens, and bolted out the door. She ran through the village, her breath coming in ragged gasps. She reached the town square, where a few villagers had gathered, their faces pale with terror. "They're coming for us," a woman sobbed. "The stalker! He's taking us one by one." Emily knew she needed evidence to convince the outside world of the horror in Thistlewood. She urged the villagers to stay together and made her way back to the woods, hoping to capture anything on camera. As she entered the clearing again, she felt the air grow colder. The well stood ominously, a portal to darkness. She set up her camera, focusing on the well. The whispers grew louder, and she felt a presence behind her.